My name is Francis Corcoran. I chair the Finance Committee for the Environmental Facilities Corp. Today is Thursday, June 23rd, 2022. It's approximately 10:48. This is a meeting of the Finance Committee to discuss and vote on our agenda today. So with that, if I could, Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Certainly. Mr. Corcoran.
Present.
Mr. Markey.
Here.
Mr. Krasansky.
Here.
And Mr. Zarofsky.
I'm here.
We have the complete committee.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. With having a quorum of the committee, I would like to ask for an approval of the draft minutes of the September 2nd, 2021 Finance Committee.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Great. Charlie and Vita, thank you for the motion and the second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The approval of the minutes passes unanimously. So I would also like to get at the same time the approval of the draft minutes from the February 14th, 2022 Special Finance Committee that we held. And with that, I would seek a motion for the minute approval.
So moved.
Thank you, Adam. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Charlie seconds. Is there any discussion on the minutes from the Special Finance Committee meeting? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It carries once again unanimously. We have on our agenda today the review and reassessment of the Finance Committee charter. There are no proposed changes for this year. So there being no changes and our having recently reviewed it, I would look for a motion to vote on its reapproval for the upcoming year.
I'll make that motion, Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Vita. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It carries. With that, we come to our big item on the agenda today, which is the presentation of the annual debt report for the fiscal year ended March 31st, 2022. And I'm going to ask if Albert could present that to us this morning, and then we can discuss it once he's given his presentation.
So thanks, Francis. So before the board, we have the annual debt report as of 3/31/2022. One difference from prior years is that it deals with personal income tax conduit debt that we had financed has all matured, and so there's no schedule on this year. It matured in the prior fiscal year. So that Schedule 1 is all of our state revolving fund debt. We issued 2 series throughout the year. 2021A refunded Clean Water and Drinking Water Series 2011B for New York City, and there was no new money. It was just a straight refunding. Series 2021B was a pool and included both new money and a refunding of 21C. Both refundings combined at $126 million in present value savings for our borrowers. So it's a big win. Schedule 2 is the industrial finance program of private activity bonds. And we had no issuances or maturities. So no change from last year. And Schedule 3 is our expenses related to our 2 issuances.
Okay.
I have a general question that just occurred to me. Maybe, this is the reflective experts in the room. Just occurred to me. Sorry, we don't hear anything about the debt cap these days, the state debt cap. Of course, it's based on, percent of PIT. So all this, that reminded me, sort of, and the amount you can issue, there's that formula. And, for years, we were struggling to stay under the debt cap of the state. And I'm wondering, like the private activity, these go through PACB. And those are, what's in the state debt cap that we care about? So, and then I'm wondering, like personal income taxes, it's based on the earnings. I was wondering with the recession, I haven't heard anything about maybe that number being a problem, again.
So we haven't issued private activity bonds
Right.
since 2007, so
Right.
we're kind of out of that.
That's right, out of that loop.
Out of that loop.
Right.
So.
Got it.
we can look-
When's the last time we issued a PIT transaction? P12? It's a PIT deal.
Yeah.
I think it was 2000s. The ones that just matured were 2007. Oh, yeah.
So it's been that
No,
long.
we did some after 2007,
Okay.
but they had already been fees or refund
Got it.
since.
Into a DASNY issuance.
Into it, yes. So,
It's maybe why we don't hear about it, but.
exactly.
It's out of our
Yeah.
portfolio.
It's not. Okay. Good. Thanks. Thanks for the answer.
Thanks. Are there any other questions, Adam or Vita, that you all have on the expenses or anything else related to the debt report? I know that you've all read it, and Albert's done a great job of preparing it and presenting it, so.
No, I guess my only question, and this is maybe for the broader boards of is how do we think, if at all going forward, the influx of federal funds and all that integration is going to affect or not affect the overall planning? But we don't have to have that conversation now. We can have that another time. But just in terms of thinking about the effect, if any, of increased flow of funds in on our overall financial planning vis-a-vis debt and going forward. But maybe it's a different conversation for another time.
Yeah, no, that's certainly taken into account in our budget and financial plan, and
Right.
I'm happy to have a side discussion.
Yeah, just curious as to how that's flowing through.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably something we would all want to.
Maybe a briefing on that at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to put that aside as something maybe we'd all want to just get a little brief on, just a little brief and update and potential impact and benefit. Nothing major, but just enough to keep us up to speed and, invoke those thought-provoking questions that we have, so. Is there anything else? Any other questions for Albert? All right. Since there are no other questions, then I would take a motion to recommend to the full board that we accept and approve the annual debt report, and that we will see it presented as ID number 1 at the full board for its agenda. So I would take a motion to recommend the board accept and approve the annual debt report upon its presentation at our board meeting today.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Vita. All right, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Albert, thank you for that. The motion is carried, and we will recommend it. It'll show up as ID number 1 on today's agenda for approval. So with that, unless there is any other business of the Finance Committee here today, I would take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Right? Any discussion? Thank you for your time today. Thank you for your approval of the prior minutes. And thank you, staff, for all the time and effort you put into presenting this and making our lives easier and all the people across New York. So thank you. This meeting is adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
Thank you. Mike.